$200 benefit raise plus a $2,000 fourth stimulus check specifically focused on Social Security, including retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA, and RRB. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, now this is a really good question that I've seen showing up down in the comments section from those of you right here in the community reaching out asking, are we possibly going to get both of these, or is it going to be one of these situations where we get either or, one or the other? That's a great question and exactly what I want to talk about for you right here in the video, because there are a bunch of details that we need to understand about both of these types of situations. So let's get into it and talk about everything you need to know. However, really quickly before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video. As I am your one and only daily advocate, I'm doing all the research each and every day, watching everything very closely as all this information is hitting the wire and as things are changing very, very rapidly. I'm watching everything closely and breaking it all down into these videos, especially with all these announcements out of the administration, the president, lawmakers, Congress, and everything that Congress is currently working on, including all these new bills, packages, proposals, amendments, reform to these very important fixed income benefits, and anything in regards to money, checks, raises to benefits, programs, or anything else out there right now that we can possibly take advantage of or get our hands on. Of course, I want to make sure that you know about it immediately. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and let's get into it and talk about this very important question that so many of you have been asking down in the comments section over the last few weeks and the last couple months here. Let's talk about it because this is a very important topic that I think all of us want to know the answer to and get a little bit more clarity on what is really going on right now. All right, so here's what it comes down to. Now, obviously, we've talked about a $2,000 fourth stimulus check many, many times here on the channel for the last quite a few months now, right? So with that being said, that is one completely separate topic when it comes down to these two different pieces of legislation and, of course, the two different pieces of money that could possibly be going out to the people. So when it comes down to it, the $200 per month raise is as a result of that bill that was introduced a couple months ago out of Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and a few other Democratic lawmakers who came out and introduced the Social Security Expansion Act. Now, in this one, they want to raise benefits by $200 per month, otherwise $2,400 throughout the course of the entire year for Social Security beneficiaries, and they also want to make some other changes to benefits, which would actually go out all the way to 2096 for another 74 years, right? So that's what's going on with the Social Security Expansion Act. Now, that is one piece of legislation that is completely separate of the $2,000 fourth stimulus check. Now, let's quickly talk about a $2,000 check here for just a second. To be totally clear, before we get into it any further here, I want to make it very, very clear here so that there's no misunderstanding about this. There is not a $2,000 check right now, okay? So as of right now, there is not a $2,000 stimulus check that has been approved. If anything changes on that, of course, I will continue to bring you those updates and bring you the latest details on it. However, there still is some talk out there about a check. There is still some circling information. There's still some headlines coming out about a check, things like this. There's a lot of us here in the community that have been calling on Congress and the president and the administration as a whole to issue another check, things like this. So other than that, there is not a check that has been approved right now. However, let's talk about it further. In the event that a $2,000 check or even a $1,400 check or realistically any dollar amount of a fourth stimulus check possibly happens to be approved, then would it actually come down to either one or the other? Would it come down to a $200 raise for monthly benefits, or would it come down to a one-time $2,000 check? Again, that's a really good question and what I want to talk about a little bit further here. All right, so like I've said a couple times in this video now, these are two totally different things. A $2,000 fourth stimulus check is literally just a stipend coming out of the Treasury, the IRS who would be issuing it, and that money goes out to you, right? Just like the last three stimulus checks that we've received, the money is basically just issued. It's an advance on a refundable tax credit. You get the money, and then you can do whatever you want with it. No strings attached. It is not counted as resources. It is not counted as income, and it does not impact other fixed income benefits. It has no consequence at all. It is just all gravy. 100%, it is really, really good because, like I said, it's not counted as income. It doesn't impact your other benefits. It does not offset other benefits, and it is not counted as resources. Therefore, for those of you receiving SSI or SNAP benefits or anything like this, it's not going to offset other benefits. That's why stimulus checks are so incredibly powerful, like I've talked about in previous videos. So that's one thing. It's an advance on a refundable tax credit. That's what the $2,000 check would be in the event that something is actually approved. Now, next, Let's quickly talk about the $200 per month raise. Now, this is something, again, totally different. This would be a $200 per month raise as a result of the Social Security Expansion Act introduced by, like I said, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and a handful of other Democratic senators. Now, this would be a completely separate piece of legislation where they would want to raise benefits aside from a check and actually raise those benefits up for many, many years to come into the future for Social Security beneficiaries. And the way that they would do that is by raising payroll taxes, the money that is collected on your paycheck in the form of Social Security payroll taxes. That's how they would fund that. So, long story short, again, I wanted to run through the basics there to kind of better understand the situation and what this all means as far as, are they correlated? Are they the same thing? Is it one or the other? All right, so long story short, here's the answer to your question. Long story short, the answer is no, they are not the same thing at all. It's not going to be it's not going to be choose one or the other if both of these were to come through. And I'm going to be honest with you right now. In the event that both of these came through, I think it would be a miracle. I'm just being real with you right now. If either one of these came through, I mean, realistically, it could possibly happen. But if both of them came through, I'm just going to be honest with you. I think it would be completely a miracle if the $200 per month raise actually happened and a $2,000 check. I mean, honestly, we'd have to be in a pretty bad economic situation in order for that to be happening. I'm just, again, being totally real with you right now. Okay, so in the event that both of those did come through and both of those were floated on a pretty serious basis, then yeah, you could possibly get both. Then yes, both of them would actually be happening for the beneficiaries because one would be a permanent raise to benefits and the other one would literally just be a $2,000 stipend as distributed as an advance on a refundable tax credit. Does that kind of make sense? Just like the last 3 stimulus checks that we received. So when it comes down to your question, no, it's not a one or the other. It's not going to be like you get to choose one or the other. That's it. So yes, you could potentially get both. But like I said just a second ago, I'm going to be honest with you. I do not think that both of these are going to come through simultaneously. If even just one of them came through, I'd still be kind of shocked, just being real with you. Okay, so by all means, yes, a $200 per month raise could be happening, although it's going to face some major hurdles going through Congress. Again, just being real with you, it's going to take some major work to get this through Congress. They could still do it, but again, it's going to be an uphill battle trying to get that thing passed. Next, as far as the $2,000 check, again, we would need to be in a pretty bad economic situation. Well, we could be getting into that here soon. Again, we'll have to continue watching all the economic numbers going forward here and see what actually happens. But we would have to be in a pretty deep recession in order for them to issue a $2,000 check again. I wouldn't be shocked to see them do it in the event the recession gets really deep and really bad. In that event, then yeah, by all means, I could easily see a $2,000 check. But as of right here, right now, I just don't see it, okay? And again, I wanted to answer this question for you because some of you down in the comment section have been asking. But at the same time, please don't be upset with me. I'm just being the messenger here. I'm giving you my honest opinion because that's what you've asked for, is honesty in these videos, and that's what I'm giving you right now, is I just don't foresee both of them happening. Maybe one or the other at some point. Yeah, I could see that possibly happening. But as of right now, I just don't see either of them happening right here, right now. So I hope that answers your question. But again, in the event that both of these came through and both of these were introduced on a serious basis, then yes, by all means, you could absolutely get both because they are two totally different things. Again, one is a stipend out of the IRS and the Treasury, just basically sending you out some money to stimulate the economy, and the other one would be a permanent benefit raise to monthly benefits for all the beneficiaries that I mentioned earlier. Does that make sense? Anyway, hope that kind of gives you a better perspective and some answers to your questions that you've been wondering and the questions that I've seen popping up down below. Either way, I will continue watching everything. There's only 1,000 other pieces of legislation, announcements, and all kinds of other plans that are floating around Congress right now to raise benefits, get money to the pockets of the people, reform Social Security. I mean, the list goes on and on. We talk about it here on the channel often enough that there's a lot going on out there right now. So we can't just be focused on these two things alone. There's a lot more moving parts out there than just these two. Either way, I will continue watching everything closely. As I do get more details, I'll be right here for you, breaking it down and helping you out in any way that I possibly can by keeping you informed and, of course, following through with my promises and my dedication to you and this community, which is to be here for you and to give you as much as I possibly can with this information and, of course, all the really cool things we're doing right here on the channel. So again, hope that answers it for you and breaks it down a little bit further as far as what these actually represent and what is the likelihood of any of this either happening. So anyway, thanks again. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out some of the other thousands and thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, have a good one. Thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you again later in the next video. I'll see you.